A Chut-Cheese rudiment is based on a flam accent with a second flam and a cheese on that. So let's break that down really slow without the cheese on the second note at first. Notice I'm getting an accent on the second note. That's going to be really important for when later on we add the cheese rudiment to that. Let's give that a try right now. Notice that when I'm playing the cheese rudiment, I try to keep the grace note really low, really soft, and really try to extend on that diddle to get the accent to happen. Kind of sounds like Mary Poppins' Chim Chimney. Okay, but the first thing as we break it down, you have to make sure you can play the flam accent because that's the primary base of this entire rudiment. From there we add the second flam. Start to accent it, and cheese it. Now when you start this rudiment, as you're playing along, it's based on a triplet formation, so make sure you set your metronome to a triplet and play along to that. You want to make sure you keep a nice steady tempo all the way through when you're playing. Now I'm taking this really slow right now. And when I start to go a little bit faster, you can start to see that I start to let the diddle fall a little bit more, get a little bit more relaxed with the diddle interpretation, but the grace notes have to be even lower as I'm playing faster. So we have a little bit more pop and quality sound off of the cheese rudiment. When I get to about that tempo, that's when I start to really relax the diddle and it becomes a little bit faster, a little bit more legato in its approach. And we can't forget, as we're trying to accent the cheese rudiment, to really get a full extension on that second note. So we have a good range of flexibility, okay? At the slower tempos, it's probably a good idea to try to really overextend on that second note on the accent so we can really get that difference between the accent and the tap heights. Probably what the most difficult part about this rudiment really is the fact that there are two flams back to back, and one of them has a cheese on it, okay, the second one. So as you're playing through this, just like a pas de fla-fla where you have two flams in a row, you have to be really cognizant of the primary note and then the grace note of that first right hand. Okay, as far as a control standpoint. And then as we start to go faster, you're going to get a little bit more of a whip motion between the hands, just like a pas de fla-fla would, where you start to just relax and kind of get that hand-to-hand bounce, almost like you're bouncing a tennis ball. This is really an advanced rudiment. All hybrid rudiments are advanced rudiments. So we really have to make sure we take our time, relax, play slowly, be very careful as far as the accent and tap heights from hand to hand and the responsibilities of each hand. Practice with a metronome really slowly. Don't try to go fast. Okay? Really be aware of what the responsibilities are for each hand at a slow tempo. If you try to go too fast, you're not going to really solidify what the musculature responsibilities are for each hand. And that's what's going to get that relationship between right hand and left hand, strong hand versus weak hand, to make this sound really good.